Welcome. I'd like to introduce you to the 600 Series Anniversary Edition, a range of loudspeakers designed to commemorate and celebrate one of the most important ranges and one of the most important events in the history of Bowers & Wilkins, the 25th anniversary of our 600 Series range. In the time we've been manufacturing 600 Series, over 1 million pairs of loudspeakers have found their way into lucky owners' hands across the world, meaning that more people have experienced Bowers & Wilkins sound through a pair of these than through any other range of loudspeakers we have produced. They are essentially the global way to access Bowers & Wilkins sound quality. Now, on top of that, we've had tremendous success along the way, huge numbers of awards, and won a lot of love from both owners, reviewers and buyers alike. So we're very confident of the success of both the range and what we're going to do now. So who buys 600 Series loudspeakers? And this is the great thing about them. It's such a democratic loudspeaker. It's not just about the audiophile, the very well-heeled buyer. It's about anybody the world over who loves music, who's just interested in getting better sound for their money. What defines a 600 Series loudspeaker is not necessarily the beauty of the cabinet or the numbers of coats of polish that it has, but the fantastic internal ingredients that go inside it, which make it different from any other range of loudspeakers that you can buy from any rival at the same price point. So what do I mean by that? Well, think about this. If you buy a pair of 606s, you are buying essentially the exact same cone technology as we use in our 805s. And 805s are used as some of the monitor loudspeakers in Abbey Road Studios. Now, what better kind of hallmark of success can you imagine than that? So let's talk about the evolution of the range. We introduced the first in 1995, quickly changing over to 1999 with a series of upgrades before 2001, 2007 some more significant changes, and in 2014 with the decoupled double dome tweeter. 2018 was probably the biggest change yet, where we introduced the acclaimed Continuum cone. So, it's time for an anniversary edition. How do we go about doing that? What do we need to do to really celebrate such a momentous event? We didn't change the rulebook radically. We stuck with the proven ingredients that were already at the top of the category in most cases. What we've done, however, is a series of both aesthetic, design improvements and technical improvements to really amp up the game and make this feel like a special celebratory event. Let's talk about design details first. Every new 600 Series Anniversary Edition includes a brand new tweeter surround, which has the Anniversary Edition lettering etched into it to really emphasize just how special it is. It's available both in a dark surround and a light surround, which varies depending on the color of loudspeaker that you choose to buy. Speaking of colors, we've also got two new finishes. So in addition to the matte white and the matte black that you already have, we've introduced an oak finish, which is going to be available in Europe, North America and in certain parts of Asia, and a red cherry finish that we're going to be offering in the rest of Asia. So that's design detailing. Let's talk about model range. We've got 4 main models in the range. We've got the 607, which is the most compact. This is the bookshelf model with a 5-inch or 130mm mid-bass cone and the 25mm aluminium dome, the decoupled double dome tweeter. We also have a larger one, 606, a stand mount design with a 6.5-inch or 165mm mid-bass cone. Then we have a 3-way, the Tau or flagship model, the 603, which is the 150mm FST mid-range cone and 2 165mm bass cones, giving a very powerful sounding loudspeaker able to fill a big room with ease. The 4th and final model in the range is the updated HGM6, which is the center channel model with a pair of 5-inch or 130mm cones, perfect to complete the home theater system and create a powerful movie watching experience at home. All of those loudspeakers join the existing range of subwoofers that we already have. They're carried over. So the ASW 608, the 8-inch design, the ASW 610, the 10-inch design, and the ASW 610 XP, the 10-inch design with 500 watts of output. You can also opt to buy the STAV 24 stand. That suits both the 607, the bookshelf design, and the 606, the stand mount design. We also have a home theater system that we put together for you, which is the 603 Theatre. That has a 603s at the front, the HGM6, a pair of 607s at the back, and the ASW 610 subwoofer. So let's take a look at the details inside the decoupled double dome tweeter assembly. What we're going to do is unpack the dome, and as you can see here, we've got a 2-part construction. I'm going to show you that there. That's the front dome. The main dome is a 30 micron diaphragm. That's the main part that generates sound. Just behind it, there's a second section, a separate ring, which is a 50 micron dome, and that's bracing the system up and improving its stability, making sure that it doesn't get into stress as we go upwards in frequency. I can show you what I mean by that using a comparison here. So first, what we've got is a standard 50 micron aluminium dome without that bracing ring. We use a combination of color and movement to help us understand stress, in other words distortion, within a dome. And as you can see here, this dome's showing a lot of movement and a lot of red color, which represents the sound of distortion, the sound of the dome starting to get into trouble. Now, if I compare that to our decoupled double dome at the same frequency, which is around 20 kilohertz, you can see hardly any red, in fact none at all, and hardly any movement. And what that represents is a dome that's behaving itself very well and not distorting. So what we'll do one more time is just show you those two side by side as a quick comparison, and you can see a standard 50 micron aluminium dome getting into all sorts of distress, and our new decoupled double dome at the same frequency behaving perfectly. Let's have a look at how it goes inside a cabinet, and the key word here is that point about decoupling. What I'm going to show you just here is a loudspeaker cabinet that's got no decoupling, and the tweeter dome's rigidly mounted, and you can see, again using one of those simulations, all the velocity or unwanted energy running through the system, turning it into radiated sound that we don't want. Compare that with this. What we have now is a decoupled assembly, and you can see the diaphragm instead is not wasting any energy going into the structure, it's all going outwards into the room. So let's look at a comparison of those two side by side, and you can see the decoupled double dome assembly against the rigidly coupled assembly. We're getting a much more efficient spread of sound going out of the cabinet and far less being wasted vibrating the box. So that's the high frequency sorted. Now it's time to look at the mid-range and mid-bass. So what we're going to do is take the mid-range cone out of our loudspeaker here. There it is, and as you can see, we've got the Continuum cone. So we're going to compare the Continuum cone to our older Aramid fiber technology. First, I'm going to show you an Aramid fiber cone, and as you can see the Aramid fiber cone here, we're going to put a single click or sound into the heart of it. And that's going to run through the heart of the cone out towards the edges, representing sound or noise moving forward into the room. And as you can see, when it hits the edge of the cone, a considerable amount of energy comes backwards towards the middle of the cone again, representing sounds that we do not want you to hear, unwanted noise. And that lack of quietness contributes to masking of detail and resolution. Look at the same thing again on the Continuum cone, and we're going to compare the two. We'll put the Continuum cone into the shot, and we can do the same thing, put the sound in. And as you can see, it's going to move across the surface area of the cone in just the same real time as it did before. But this time you'll notice it goes much quieter, much quicker. There's much less unwanted noise reflecting its way back into the center of the cone. And that translates from your perspective into a cleaner, more realistic, more natural sound with more detail. We can compare the two back to back in real time. So if I put the two side by side, and one more time we put that click into the same cone at the same time, and you can see the energy moving out towards the edges of both cones, beginning to hit the edge and beginning to come back. But the difference is clear. The Continuum cone is behaving much better. The Aramid fiber cone is still maintaining noise long after the Continuum cone has started to go quiet. And that, of course, is why we use this technology in our new 600 series anniversary edition. Last thing in terms of drive units are the base cones that we fit on the 603, the floor standing model. That has a pair of substantial 165mm or 6.5-inch base cones, beautifully engineered using some of the technology that we developed in the preceding range, the CM series. Very powerful and very linear in terms of their behaviour, and a perfect complement to the characteristics of the Continuum cone mid-range. The outcome is a very clean and powerful bass response, perfect for music lovers, particularly in big rooms, but also fantastic for home theatre use. So, all of those proven ingredients in terms of the cones you'll already know about. We've used them before in preceding generations. The big acoustic change is internally in terms of the brain. What we've done is really upgrade the crossover or brain of the loudspeaker with new components, and I can show you that here in this quick comparison. So you look here, you've got a standard 600 series crossover, and we're going to compare that to an anniversary edition crossover, and you can see that we've upgraded key capacitors and improved those, and we've also introduced new bypass capacitors, doubling up in most cases to improve transparency. And the outcome of that in audible terms is a much more refined sounding, much more accurate and articulate pair of loudspeakers at any given price point. So let's summarize it all up. 600 series anniversary edition. We believe a great way for us to commemorate 25 years of one of the world's most highly regarded and most loved affordable ranges of loudspeakers, the 600 series. Very important to our business, great sounding, and in this latest version, we believe the best and most sophisticated yet. We've introduced two new finishes, We've introduced new detailing, the Anniversary Edition badge, and crucially, of course, we've upgraded the acoustic performance with improved new crossovers to really maximise the sound quality. The end game, we believe, is the best range of 600 series loudspeakers ever, a really fitting tribute and celebration to that range, and something that we hope very much you enjoy listening to both now and for years to come.